In the previous video, we discussed about passive solar energy. Passive solar energy was harnessing solar energy without any specialized equipment or machinery, right? We used special kinds of windows and special kinds of walls that were specially designed to harness solar energy, and thus we were able to get the heat and light from the sun and use it, right? Active solar energy, on the other hand, uses some kind of equipment to harness solar energy. Now, the two broad ways of doing this is to convert solar energy directly into electrical energy and then use that electrical energy for our own different needs, right? And we can use a solar panel to do this. The other option is to convert solar energy into heat energy and use the heat energy for different purposes. For example, a solar cooker is something like this. I'm sure you've heard of both solar panels and solar cookers. We'll go into a little more depth and discuss these things. So let's begin with discussing solar panels, where we're converting solar energy directly into electrical energy. Now, the basic building block of this entire system is the photovoltaic cell or the solar cell. This solar cell produces electricity when sun rays fall on it, right? How do I know? If I connected a bulb to the solar cell, it would light up, right? Now, this solar cell produces very little bit of voltage and a pretty low amount of current as well. So 0.5 volts and 3 to 9 amperes is very less power. You remember how to calculate power? Multiply the voltage or the potential difference with the current and you get the power. Why don't you do it? So if I had 3 amperes, the amount of power I would get is 1.5 watts. And if I had 9 amperes, I would get 4.5 watts. Now, both these values, this range is really low. 4.5 watts cannot run a fan or maybe even a large enough light to light up your room, right? And so what happens is this one solar cell really can't do much. We need a larger number of solar cells. And so what we do is we connect these solar cells with each other to form a larger solar panel, we call it. So this is our solar panel or solar module, if you want to call it that. Now, even a solar panel doesn't have enough power to run, say, an industry or a large home. So what we do is we take a large number of panels and connect them to each other, and that gives us what we call an array. A large number of arrays put together form a solar farm, and these solar farms, depending on the size, can produce enough electricity for an entire industry. Now, how do we connect these photovoltaic cells? How does it actually work? Let's get into the details. So, like any other electrical equipment, there are two ways by which we can connect these photovoltaic cells or solar cells: the series connection and the parallel connection. I'm sure you've studied this with connections of resistors. We'll do this for connections of solar cells. Let's say we start with the series case. In the series case, we connect these cells in series like this, just like we would do in the case of resistances. And just like in the case of resistances, the same current flows through each of the solar cells. So it's exactly like resistances, right? Okay, now just like resistances, if each of them had a potential difference across them, I'm naming that V1, V2, V3. Let's give it a number. Let's say it's 0.6 volts. Okay, then the net potential difference is going to be V1 plus V2 plus V3, right? The sum of the potential differences. If you calculate that for this case, it's going to be 0.6 plus 0.6 plus 0.6, and that gives you 1.8 volts, right? Okay, so we know that just like any other series connection, what's going to happen is potential differences are going to get added up, right? Amazing. Now let's move on to the parallel connection case. In the parallel connection case, just like we would do for resistors, this is how the connections are going to look. And we know that the potential difference is going to be same, right? For all of these cells. But the current is going to be different. That's I1, that's I2, that's I3. So the net current I can say is I1 plus I2 plus I3, right? And let me give some numbers. Let's say this was 1 ampere, this was 1 ampere, 1 ampere. So the net current is going to be 3 amperes, right? Just like any other parallel connection, the current gets added up. I'd like you to pause for a moment and just have a look at this before we move to the next slide, because the next slide is going to combine both series and parallel connections. Okay, so let's say I have a large number of cells and this is my solar panel, small panel. Just how many cells do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 into 5, so 20 cells, right? So how do I connect these 20 cells? Now, how we connect these 20 cells depends on the need, but I'm just going to show you how it works. So let's say I connect all of these cells in series, and let's say I call this one string. Now, the potential difference across each of these cells, let's give that a number. Let's say that's 0.5 volts. What do you think the total potential difference would be across these four cells? Don't you think it would be zero point 0.5 plus zero point 0.5 plus zero point 0.5 plus zero point 0.5? So that gives you 2 volts. Perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is make multiple strings. Right now, I have 5 strings. Each of them has 2 volts potential difference across its ends, isn't it? Assuming all of them are identical. What if I connect all of them together in parallel? Now, what's going to happen is that the potential difference across this entire system is going to be 2 volts, same 2 volts, right? So the potential difference across the entire system is equal to the number of cells in series in each of the strings, isn't it? I'd like you to pause for a moment and try to work this out on your own. If you find it confusing, just take a paper and a pencil, draw this out, and try it out on your own. Okay, now let's move to the current part. So let's say each of them are producing, say, 1 ampere of current. What do you think the net current is going to be? It's going to be 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, right? And that is going to give you 5 amperes. So overall, we were able to get 2 volts and 5 amperes. Now, let me just put this down that the current depends on the number of strings in parallel. The potential difference depends on the number of cells in each string, right? Whereas the current depends on the number of strings in parallel. So overall, we were able to get 2 volts and 5 amperes. If you want to calculate the power, you can go ahead and that'll be 5 into 2, 10 watts, right? So we discussed how we can convert solar energy directly into electrical energy. Now we'll discuss how we can convert solar energy into heat energy directly. Let's go ahead with the example of a solar cooker. So a solar cooker has a mirror, and this is a concave mirror. So this is the shiny side, right? When you have solar rays, sun's rays coming from infinity, they're all parallel to each other. And once they get reflected off this concave mirror, they meet at a point called the focus. Now, at this focus, where all the sun's rays are concentrated, we place our pressure cooker or vessel or whatever we want to cook. And then we'll notice that since all the sun's rays are concentrated at one point, this point will get heated up a lot. And then slowly we'll be able to cook our food. Well, this is usually slower than, say, using a gas stove or maybe even using a large, oven or firewood or something like that. The advantage is it's all free. Once you set up the solar cooker, you're not using any money, you're not spending any money on fuel, right? This is how the solar cooker looks. You have a large dish, and at the focus, you place your pot. Okay, so that was just a quick example of how to use solar energy and directly convert it into heat energy. Next, we're going to pick up a very interesting method where solar energy is first converted to heat energy, and then this heat energy is converted to electrical energy, right? So this is like a two-step process: solar to heat and heat to electrical. Let's see how this works out. So in this process, what we're going to do is we're going to have a similar concave shaped mirror like we had in the solar cooker, and we have a pipe. This pipe is going to be placed along the line where you have the focus, right? Because this mirror is not a bowl shaped mirror, it's just a curved mirror. And so the focus for this mirror will be all along the line. I'll just show you another picture, a real picture, and you'll get it. So we have rays from infinity coming, striking on the mirror, and then concentrating at the focus, right? Now, what's going to happen is that water is going to be made to flow through this pipe. But as the water, flows through this pipe, as it, experiences the heat of these concentrated sun's rays, it's going to heat up. The water is going to heat up, and you'll notice that it gets hotter and hotter as it goes. I've just used blue to show cold and red to show hot. Now, once this water heats up a lot, it is then, it's going to turn into steam, and that steam is going to be used to run a turbine. So basically, we convert our sun's energy into heat energy. That heat energy gets converted into electrical energy. So that's the entire process there. So let's go ahead and look at how it looks in real life. So this is what that, pipe and the mirror looks like. So this is the mirror and this is our pipe. After a while, this water will heat up and then it'll turn into steam, and then it can be used to run a turbine. So this is how the rays look like when they come and strike the mirror, and then after they get reflected, they go and meet at the pipe, right? And that heats up the water at the pipe. That's pretty much it for this video. Let's quickly summarize. So we looked at how solar energy can be directly converted to electrical energy using a photovoltaic cell or a solar cell. We also saw how solar energy can be converted to heat energy directly in a solar cooker. And then we also saw how we can convert that heat energy into electrical energy too using a turbine. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.